Ronda starts now.
Hi.
So, hey, I watched your opponent a while back, right?
Yeah.
It was a great interview, and you said that you like to have a lot of sex before a fight because it makes your testosterone rise. Now, I was wondering, are you on schedule to have your testosterone risen to the appropriate level before
Someone
fight?
who isn't an asshole.
Hey, Ron, I know fight week's an intense week for you, but I'm not sure I've ever seen a workout like this. Do you get to soak this in and enjoy it at all, or are you too focused to really get to see how technique this is?
Well, one of my old judo teammates I grew up with, his dad's my godfather, and his dad and my mom were teammates back in the day. We finally brought him on. He moved back to California. He's my new judo coach. So I got to bring him along for all this, and it's all a novelty for for him. We were grunging it around the world before doing judo stuff. So it's kind of cool to like really be together and see how how far we've come.
Yeah. You said Alexis Davis might be your most well-rounded challenge, the well-rounded opponent. But is there any place that you think she might be better than you? Any place that she might have you in trouble if she's got you in that realm?
No, I don't think there's any place where anyone's better than me. That's the kind of attitude that you have to be the best in the world, and I don't know why people are so offended by it.
The last time that you had your training camp, you had worked on a lot of specific agility maneuvers and things that we saw in your open workout. What specifically did you focus in on this camp?
Well, we're expecting Alexis to try and risk a lot of elbows whenever I come in close, so defense is a lot. And also because Sarah McMahon was a wrestler, I fought her with a much different stance than I went with Alexis, but if I was them watching that video, I would assume that I'm open for left head kicks. So I'm assuming that they practice a lot of push kicks, left head kicks, and elbows at close distance, and I've been spending a lot of time just anticipating their game plan.
Ronda, how did training with Ronda Rousey boost your ground confidence?
Huron and Henner have been amazing for me in that we have very opposite styles, but a very a similar technical level from different styles. So with judo, I only had a couple seconds at a time to attack on the ground, so all the caution went to the wind when it came to defense. And so I was very, very risky, very offensive on the ground, and they have a very patient, meticulous, attention to defense style, which is the perfect balance for me to really fill all the holes that I have in my game, and they've been just entirely indispensable. And Huron's with me today, and Henner is with Machida, and we have a Gracie stack card.
How has it worked with Henner and Huron splitting time between you and Machida? Have you felt that effect at all?
No, it actually makes things so much easier because if one is out of town and one's working with somebody else, the other one can always cover. And so there's times where Henner and Huron are out of town on a seminar, and so the other one will cover and work with me, or one's working with Machida and the other one's working with me. So because there's two of them, and because I work so well with both, it makes it so much easier for us to manage all of our crazy schedules together.
Alexis Davis told me earlier that training for you has given her a new appreciation for judo. I know she's your opponent, but is it satisfying for you to hear things like that coming from opponents?
Oh, definitely.
About judo?
Yeah, and Alexis has been just amazingly cool chick and respectful opponent, and it definitely makes my job a lot easier in one sense. It takes a lot less effort on the media side, and that was one of the things I was aiming to do in MMA in the first place. When I was just an observer, I was always so disappointed in how little credit judo ever got, and it's nice to really see that changing, but it's also, it was kind of my well-kept secret, so now everyone's training in judo. It makes things a little harder for me as well, but that just pushes me to be better, and I've been doing judo for 16 years now, and it's hard for someone to play catch-up in a couple months.
How is it preparing for somebody that does have respect for you? It seems like you kind of feed on that emotion sometimes in your fights. Is it more difficult to motivate yourself and be prepared when somebody isn't talking trash about you?
The only opponent, I only had one opponent ever that I really had that with. And so I've had a lot more of, amiable opponents than not. And so just because I'm so good at it, people think that I'm just doing it all the time. But, I'm more of a counter striker when it comes to that. If they want to be cool, I'll be cool. If they don't want to be cool, then watch out. So no, it's fine with me, and especially since with the co-main event, it's a real luxury in that I can just let the guys carry the burden of selling the card, and I just show up and perform.
In a way, is it kind of hard to motivate yourself being such a dominant champion like you are?
It's even easier to be motivated because I have everything to lose, everything that I ever worked for to lose every single time I get out there. the more accomplishments that piled up, the more that there is at stake with every single fight. It's not like I'm putting money in a retirement fund and no matter what happens, it's still there. With every single accomplishment and every single fight that I take, there's more and more on the line with every single fight. So I have way more to lose than Alexis does. This fight is way more important to me than it is to her. She can't possibly care more than I do, and I know for a fact she doesn't work harder than I do.
Ronda, you talked about one thing that's at stake is your Hollywood career, and that makes sense that, you know, Hollywood would want an undefeated UFC champion, but have you ever felt that in like a really real way, like a director told you, like, hey, if you want this opportunity, you can't lose, like you have to be a champion? I mean, is that just something that you assume, or has that been actually something that's been told to you?
No, that's a pressure that I put onto myself, and it's something that I expect from myself, and, you know, I'm aware that if I was still working graveyards, 24-hour fitness, Sylvester Stallone would have showed up and asked me to be in a movie. And so I'm not getting to that point where I feel like, you know, I haven't even had any movies come out yet. You know, I went and made a bunch, but they haven't come out. And so for me to walk around and think that I'm some indispensable A-lister is pretty arrogant even for me.
You said that you'd wanted to take a break and that you would even come back to fight with the UFC in 24 hours if they needed you. But I'm curious to know how much when you take a break are you actually able to stay out of the gym? Because you were saying that you really can't do that.
Yeah, for this time around, I'm gonna have to find like something that is a very active rest. So I didn't really do that well this time. The thing is, it's like I'm resting and then I'm eating, and then when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so full, I want to go work out. And then I go work out really, really extra hard because I ate so much the night before. And then I go and I eat a lot that night. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to charge it at the gym tomorrow. And so like I work out really, really hard during camp, mostly because I eat so much at night that I just feel like ultra motivated to get in the gym the next day. But yeah, it'll definitely, I'm going to be more strict on my diet this time after the fight and actually rest a little bit more instead of just, eating big and training big.
Guys, got time for 2 more.
You so clearly are using your speed and explosive power in the stand-up in your workout there, and you seem to have got quicker. We haven't really had a highlight reel knockout on the feet in the women's division yet. Speed could be the key on Saturday night. You're going to knock her out?
Well, I can't say with certainty what's going to happen. You know, I wasn't certain what was going to happen with Sarah McMahon, but I mean, is that the first body shot knockout for the women?
Yeah.
There you go. Who saw that coming?
So but your speed and explosive power is clearly getting better.
Well, I mean, people forget all the time that I won the title 20 days short of the anniversary of my pro debut. So I've been learning on my feet, and I had to hit the ground running. And for people to not expect me to improve still when it's only been 3 years since my pro debut, I mean, why would I plateau so quickly? Of course I'm going to be improving a lot faster than all these other girls because I've had so much less time in the game than all these other girls. I think that's one big advantage that I have over Alexis. She has so much more experience than me that the amount of improvement that she is trying to make in the time of camp, it can't compare to the amount of improvements that I'm going to make just because of the percentage of time I've even been spending, training in MMA.
This makes 3 back-to-back training camps for you. Could possibly even squeeze in a 4th before the year's over with. If next year or the year after that were to present such that kind of schedule again, could you definitively say you're comfortable doing it this work rate?
I got to beat Alexis first, and if I beat her unscathed or if I beat her in a 5-round war, I mean that will really. It will dictate how much work I'm able to do afterward. If I keep coming out of these fights unscathed, then I can fight much more often. But I mean, if these girls are going to take me deeper and deeper, then I won't be able to fight as often. No.
Just for your quote, are you a big fan of soccer?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first World Cup I ever watched. My little sister plays soccer, and so I've never paid attention to the World Cup before. And I got into this time, and I was really into it. I was watching the USA and Portugal game. And then after what happened at the end, I was like, why did anyone get me into soccer? And I'm like so mad that I care right now. I would have just not cared somewhere else if it wasn't for this. I was so upset. Oh my God. And yeah, we were watching it all day yesterday, and I'm like, man, becoming a soccer fan is really good at getting your heart broken. But I enjoy it. I really am starting to see why people appreciate it so much. And You know, I didn't watch the NBA playoffs at all, and I haven't watched the last couple of Super Bowls, and I haven't watched the last couple of World Series. I mean, this is the first time that I've gotten into a team sport in a long time, and usually, like, I can't really relate to people in team sports because it seems like the pressure is so diluted, but with soccer, there's so few chances for them to score that there is, I feel like, a lot of equivalent pressure that there is in an individual kind of sport, and yeah, I have such respect for them as athletes, and I'm starting to learn about the sport a little bit. I'm into it.
Last one right here, guys.
Ronda, after getting your first career knockout and working more on your striking, how comfortable do you feel now you're striking as compared to your judo and your ground game?
Well, I feel like I've had so many years of experience on the ground and with judo. I mean, it really is like riding a bike to me, and I don't think anything will ever be that comfortable to me. But it kind of reminds me when I was first coming up to the senior level in judo, and I was able to do arm bars. I was catching everybody with arm bars, right? And then everyone started knowing that I was an arm bar chick. So people were defending the arm bar so much that I started pinning everybody because it opened other things up. And people were just so like avoiding going to the ground at all costs after that it opened a lot of my throws up. So it seems like the more that I specialize in one area, the more it opens up the other areas, and it just creates more and more opportunities.
Thank you, Ronda. Guys, a reminder, we have an availability with 6 fighters back at the hotel at 4:30, including Struve, Mitrione, and Hall. Ultimate Media Day is early tomorrow, 9 a.m. report time.
All right, thank you guys.